Are you ready for this? 8 kinds of sex all married couples should put into rotation. I cannot wait to get your thoughts on this.
Oh boy.
Reasons men need to have more sex to reduce the risk of heart disease.
And prostate cancer.
And prostate cancer. Every single man is going to save this little snippet, send it to their wives and be like, baby, we gotta have more sex. But scientists discovered men who have sex at least 103 times per year, so that's a little over or just under 2 times per week, are 50% less likely to have heart disease than men who only have it 12 times per year, aka 1 time per month. And
Here's a question for you. Is marriage overrated?
Why aren't people getting married anymore?
A new Pew Research poll found that 2 in 5 young adults think marriage is an outdated tradition.
Marriage rates are at their lowest right now.
Is marriage really even worth it?
More than half of marriages end in divorce.
If you get married, you have to be stuck with this person for the rest of your life, right? That's why you get married. So that's why it's declining. Why would you get married if you want to have just one partner when you can have multiple?
Marriage is stupid.
welcome to the Married AF podcast, the self-proclaimed greatest marriage relationship podcast in the world. We're your hosts, Matthew and Monica Powers. Not Wayne's World.
Not today.
Not today. Wayne's World was fun, but I think that was a one and done type of thing. So, baby,
Sorry.
You look amazing today.
You're sweet. Thank you.
Beautiful. You ready to jump into this?
You just like it when I wear lipstick.
I love when you wear lipstick. Yes, I most certainly do.
I hate lipstick.
I'm sorry.
I
love it. If that's any consolation to this whatsoever, I do love when you wear lipstick. I'm like, look how kissable those lips are.
Noted. You can't even see my top lip anyways.
I can see your top
It's
lip.
like I have this.
You don't. Can you imagine if you had a finger for your top lip?
Oh, gosh.
How weird is that? No, you don't need any fillers. You're good.
I can't even make my lip look like I have fillers.
No, you cannot do that.
The plump stuff doesn't even plump up my lips.
Remember when you got that in California?
Like 20-something years ago when it
So
first
long
came out.
ago. I was like, look at this stuff. And I kissed you. I was like, oh, my lips hurt. They're on fire. They hurt. I didn't like it. I mean, I like the way it looked, but
You just like that it was glossy.
it was glossy.
That was it.
See, I can't make my lips
And
do
my
that.
lips don't do that.
Yeah. No,
It
I
didn't
don't have
even-
a top lip either, so it's okay.
But you have a mustache thingy to cover it up.
It's part of the beard. I could never do a mustache.
You
Did
have?
it once, Ted Lasso, for Halloween. It lasted like 4 hours.
Thank you.
Shaved
Our kids were
everything off,
terrified.
had a mustache, and at the end of the night, it was done. Beard came back in a week. We're good to go.
We should show everybody those Ted Lasso pictures.
We will share the Ted Lasso pictures.
Those were great.
They were good. It won't come back again. I hated it. Hated it so much. So
But
today,
you had biscuits with the boss.
I'll have biscuits with my boss every day.
Gross.
How you doing? So today we're going to
But
talk
that makes
about,
sense about what your
it does.
topic
Today
is
we're talking
today.
about sex. We have not talked about sex in a while. So we're going to talk about that in twofold. 2 articles. One you sent me, one I found. The first is the science behind reasons men need to have more sex to reduce the risk of heart disease.
And prostate cancer.
And prostate cancer. Every single man is going to save this little snippet, send it to their wives and be like, baby, we gotta have more sex. But scientists discovered men who have sex at least 103 times per year, so that's a little over or just under 2 times per week, are 50% less likely to have heart disease than men who only have it 12 times per year, aka 1 time per month. And the reason is because sex, gets your heart pumping, gets you going, and it's good for your heart. But we also found out that men who finish
The job.
the job, especially on their side, at least I think 20 times per month, which is a lot. But man, gotta love that. Highly reduce the risk of prostate cancer in the process. So men, you're definitely saving all of
20
this.
times a month.
20 times a month. So, that's, probably at least 4 times a week. 4 to 4.5 times a week for men. So clearly they're going to save this part of the podcast because they're going to be like with their wives, like, hey, we gotta get this going.
I don't need heart disease or Prostate cancer.
So we need to do it a whole lot more often, which, man, if you want that, you like work towards it, do something. You are not as desirable as you probably think that you are.
If you want to do it, do
Do
something.
And she will probably give it to you. But that leads me into a second article that I found. Let me find it real quick.
Okay.
All right. 8 kinds of sex all married couples need to put in rotation.
Oh my goodness.
So as we get into this,
Have you already dissected this article?
Yes, I've
to
read.
see if we checked off all 8.
I've read all of it. We check off all but maybe one, which we'll have just some discussion on what this one is. Disclaimer: obviously, people listening, watching, it's a sexual in nature podcast recording that we're doing today. So you may not want to listen to this out in public if you're easily embarrassed. Depending on your workplace, you may not want to blast this on the airwaves at work. You might not want to listen around children unless you want to answer those questions, which if you have children, you need to answer these questions. You need to have this conversation with your children because your children need to learn about sex from you and nobody else, and not the world, because they're going to have a jacked up view of it if they don't get the right information from you, and you want them to come to you. But with that being said, you may want to listen to this with earbuds, but definitely share it with your spouse. Are you ready for this? 8 kinds of sex all married couples should put into rotation. I cannot wait to get your thoughts on this.
Oh boy.
So the first one, which
wait, these are not positions, right?
Not positions, no.
Okay.
These are different types of sex.
Different
Boy, that's another
podcast.
That's another episode for another day.
I don't want to be on that podcast.
Listen,
that's too personal for me.
that gets a little too deep into it.
There's full visual stuff that I don't want.
I agree. This isn't OnlyFans, y'all. We ain't doing that. All right. So number one, morning sex.
Okay.
You're on board with morning sex.
Yep.
That's all you got to say about that, right? Morning sex. The reason is, and I fully agree, it is. I mean, what a better way to start the day than to right out of the gate, first thing in the morning. Hey, you're feeling frisky. Got a good night's sleep, hopefully. And what better way to start the day? Now, that comes with a caveat. For us especially, morning breath is a real deal.
Say it again.
Morning breath is a real deal.
Oh, yeah. I will not speak until I brush my teeth.
That's a real thing.
Unless it's an emergency.
An absolute emergency. So, for us, it's not a, hey, let's just wake up. All right, go time. It's a, hey, we'll get there, but let me brush my teeth at least at first. Because we don't want, you're in close proximity. You don't want that hot, heavy, been sleeping for 8 hours, probably mouth wide open sometimes.
Right? The movies where people can go straight into it when they wake up, gross me out.
Yeah, you've always said something about that.
Ew, go brush your teeth.
And I tend to
bet
agree.
he's got some real hot breath.
No doubt, because he's been sleeping like that, snoring, mouth's all dry. It stank. But morning sex is what a better way to start the day. Because how often we think about it throughout the day. Think about how much productive you can be throughout the day if you start your day with some sex with your wife.
It's a great way to start the weekend.
I mean, it's a great way to start the weekend. So we're all in for morning sex. It's the best way to get the day started. Number 2, the second type of sex.
Okay.
Quickie sex. Need to work in that quickie every now and again. Why are you laughing?
Okay, we're shooting 2 for 2.
It's a good day at the plate so far. Listen, I agree. I mean, you can't always have a long, drawn-out marathon.
No.
There are times where it's just a, hey, we got 5 minutes. Let's.
And not everybody has to have the same ending.
You want to expound on that just a little bit?
Oh. Not everybody's going to be finished.
It's very possible. Here's what I know about quickie sex. Typically, man's going to finish. Don't take men long. Listen, usually within a couple minutes, I can get it done if they need to. Women take a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So quickie sex can easily lead into, hey, this is a little appetizer.
This is just a tease.
This is our chips and queso till we get the fajitas later. You know what I mean?
I want that guac.
Yeah, let's just little chips and guac to start with, and that main course will come a little bit later. And that's what quickie sex can do. It can initiate, be something awesome in the beginning, but listen, it can move on to something that's a lot more in depth.
Lock that closet door for about 4.5 minutes.
It'll get the job done, and boy, it can lead to something because you can think about that through the rest of the day. And I think quickie sex
wasn't enough. I need more.
Yes. And quickie sex is, I mean, there's no foreplay involved. I mean, you're getting right to the point. You're getting down to it immediately because, hey, you can't resist. Can't keep your hands off each other. I think it's a good thing for married couples to be able to have that quickie sex every now and again where, hey, we got, like I said, 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. That's it. We need to get moving on this. We got 240 seconds. Let's knock this thing out. And you can't keep your hands off each other. It's a very, very good thing. So this is one I think that where you're probably gonna be like, nope. Scheduled sex.
I can't.
I know. Now
if I lay out a calendar and go, okay, we have this, this, and this, but Sunday afternoon around this time we can possibly. That doesn't work for me.
Now I get the idea.
I'm too spontaneous.
Get the idea of scheduling it and how that can be important. If that works for you, definitely do it. But
is that like in the mornings when we are a little flirty and we're I'm gonna have you when you get home tonight. Is that scheduling?
Yes and no. Because that's the kind of the direction that I'm going.
For me, that's anticipation.
You cannot say, all right, well, listen, I've got Thursday. Listen, I've got a meeting at 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. I can pencil you in from 3:45 to 4:15 if you want to, if you can make that work. I'm like, oh, I can't. That don't work for us. For some people, it might, and if it does,
might,
bravo.
and it works.
But you're right.
I'm too spontaneous. Life gets in the way.
You listen. Married couples, if you're in tune enough and you're open about it, like you said, in the morning, it's just a little extra flirty. You know that, hey, something's going to happen today. like it's going to go down at some point during the day today, tonight, this afternoon. Like it's going to happen.
Nothing better stop me today.
That's not necessarily scheduled, but it is kind of on the schedule. You don't know when, but that is going to go down at some point in time. And I think, when I think of scheduled sex, that's kind of the direction I'm going. Not that I'm penciling and you in from my 2 to 3 because I got time during that day.
I can't do scheduled.
Yeah, I got to get it in, after work, but before practice. It don't work that way.
Spontaneous sex is incredible.
Well,
sex.
That will lead us to the next one, which is spontaneous sex.
Are you serious?
Yes, it is. Spontaneous sex is the I gotta have you right this second. I can't resist it.
Nothing is going to stop me.
Nothing is going to stop me whatsoever. And listen, if you're a little adventurous, that can become a little dangerous because it talks about, hey, public places can be and listen, to each their own. That's you. That's you. Okay. But that can get risky really, really fast. So when I think more spontaneous, it's that mentality of there ain't nothing that's going to stop this right now.
Not spontaneous places.
No.
Spontaneous timing.
Listen, I don't want some weirdo trying to peek in. You can do it out on a park bench or something like that. That's crazy. It's a little crazy. So, but spontaneous, and it just talks about how this the unexpectedness of spontaneous. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't see that coming. So, I mean, there'll be times where, I mean, it's a straight up like that came out of left field. I wasn't expecting that, but okay, let's go. That makes for a great day. Let's do that. Spontaneous sex is good too. Oh, it's always really good. I mean, all of them are so far, but let's go through that. The next one. Which this is a must for couples. Okay. It's an absolute must because as life moves on and you got work and you got kids and you got appointments and you got sports and you have all the things, birthday parties. I hate birthday parties, but you have them.
We don't.
Hotel sex.
Oh, yes.
What is it about it that just kind of brings it to another level?
It's not the typical place where you probably have sex all the time.
It definitely isn't.
It's almost like having sex with a stranger.
Can be in a way. You're definitely in a different environment. Because for most people, it's the bedroom. And so for most people, that's going to be the spot. For some people, that's the spot 100% of the time.
I'm glad we're not some people.
No, I am too. But hotel is just, it's taking it to, this is different. It's a different place, different atmosphere. I got different surroundings. It brings in an extra level of excitement.
Maybe there's less pressure.
Yeah. I mean, there's less pressure and I think it can be less.
Expectations are met there.
Yeah.
Because you know that's where you're gonna hook up there.
Oh, it's going to happen at a hotel. I mean, there's something about the hotel. It's just, it's going to happen. But I also think you're maybe a little less reserved in a hotel. You kind of are a little more free and a little more.
You freewheeling?
A little bit. A little bit at a hotel. Because at home, it's home. It's your bed. It's where you sleep. It's where you rest.
You're very comfortable.
And you're very comfortable, but you can also be reserved because, this is home. But to the hotel, it's like, hey,
I don't care who's listening next door. They're getting a show tonight.
Well, that, and I'm not going to be reserved. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it fly. I'm going to be a little more free at a hotel. But I think hotel sex is very, very important. This next one, I'm not, they're calling it comfort sex, which comfort sex is you're feeling down on yourself. And I don't really get along with this one. The example they use is, it says, I remember once going to a bridal shower and someone asking for sex advice for the bride-to-be. When it came time for a senior elder of the church's wife to speak, she said, don't deny your husband until deathly ill. Some of the women turned up their nose at her response and simply said, I've been married almost 50 years. A lot of you are divorced. Well, I'm definitely not the woman who thinks that people should have sex when they don't feel like it. I do think it's important for married people to treat sex like it's a staple in their relationship and not just a hobby. Now, I agree with that.
But doesn't that contradict the comfort sex?
A little bit. I can see a little bit.
I don't see why that even correlates.
No, comfort sex, I'm thinking more along the lines of...
You're having sex with somebody to make them feel better.
Make them feel better, and you're down.
That's what food is for.
It is.
Sorry.
It is. Hangry.
That's not what sex is for.
Hangry is very, very true. What this is talking about is don't refuse your husband. And it goes back to what we've talked about before. I mean, it's a need, has to be met, but husbands you got to do something. Like you can't just walk in and be like, here I am, bam. So a woman's going to be like, yeah. Naked man does not always work. The naked woman always works.
It does.
But the naked man does not always work.
What is the percentage that it works?
The naked man or the naked woman?
Well, 100% of the time, it works every time.
I'd say
for the naked woman.
Naked man, 50%.
I think it's a little higher than ours.
So some are higher, but I'd say some 50%. Because, men can be disgusting pigs sometimes. So I'd say
Manscape.
50, I'd say, yeah, definitely take care of that.
Manscape that, and it makes a world of difference.
It most certainly does. Next one is reconciliation sex. This is sex makeup sex. Sex after a fight, which I could see this because tensions are high. You're passionate about whatever it is that you're talking about, whatever may be going on. I could see where this would be the case. Now, for us, we don't necessarily.
I don't know. I was trying to think of the past 25 years. Have we ever had makeup sex?
No, because we don't fight enough to get
a fight.
Let me pump the brakes on that. We don't fight. Fight. When I think of fight, I'm thinking of someone's going to come out a winner, someone's going to come out a loser. We debate, we disagree on things, but we have the same goal in mind. We're trying to understand each other, where someone's coming from. We'll come to a compromise or an agreement on that.
It's not like we don't speak to each other for weeks or days.
No.
Don't sleep in the same bed, or
you
have to sleep on the couch because I'm mad at you.
Listen, the only time we haven't slept in the same bed and been in the same home is when someone's deathly sick. Mm-hmm. As the one time, if you're sick with some sort of virus or something, like, baby, I love you. If you need me, let me know. I will come check on you from the door. But I'm not sleeping in the same bed as you. I'm sleeping in a different room. I'm staying away from you because I love you so much. And I hope you get better. But the last thing in the world I want is what you got going on right now.
We are, even before we were parents, we did that. Mm-hmm. And most of the time we would just, whoever was sick would be the one that would sleep in the bed because that's just where your comfort, you're comfortable there. And whoever else would sleep on the couch.
Yeah, totally. And we're still that way now. And that's a little different dynamic with kids because there's a part of us that even with children, we're like, listen, I know you don't feel good right now, buddy, but you're sleeping here. You're staying here. We'll come check on you, but we're going to try and stay away as much as possible. Now, that's more difficult because you need to be there in most cases, especially with younger children. You got to be there to comfort them.
We would have quarantine rooms.
We would. And you and I, at times, it'd almost be like paper, rock, scissors. Who's going to be
going? Because we know that person's going to get sick.
It's going to be who's taking the bullet.
Who's the one who can talk themselves out of throwing up the most?
Yes. Yeah, basically it was. It was like, all right, who's taking the bullet this time? Who's going to go willing to risk it all?
Now, it's been very rare for our children.
Luckily. Thank the Lord.
I remember having the flu for the very first time and only time in my life. Cash was 6 months old. And we were terrified because he hadn't had, been exposed or anything
and
to help him.
Part of that first-time parent thing.
Yes. And I was sick. And then I stayed in the bedroom. You and Cash stayed maybe in the nursery most of the time.
We did. I slept on the little love seat that we had in the nursery.
Because you did not you would open the door and go, you need anything? Okay, bye.
It was more like,
I don't think I saw y'all for a week.
Okay, good. Trying to hold your breath so you don't catch anything. That's how we operate when we're sick. So that's the only time we haven't slept in the same bed. But this idea of make-up sex, I doesn't really rely to us. Now I can see again where it would be awesome and great because
you see it in the movies or shows where
movies and shows are all fake.
They're just so mad and then they get turned to real passionate and have crazy wild sex.
I don't think that really exists. I just don't.
I would like to know if it does.
Well, listen, we can get in a huge fight over something.
No. It's not going to happen for us.
No, we need to hear from someone. Does this really exist?
I want someone can tell me. I want both sides to this story. I don't want just the dude to go, oh yeah, we have it's hot sex. Okay, what? I Love You, Man. The movie.
I Love You, Man. Oh, with the
friends.
Denise and Barry.
Yes.
Who play poker. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep.
They just try to be mad at each other.
I argue and argue and argue and argue and fight and argue.
Yes.
The whole movie, yes.
And they strictly do that so they can have like makeup sex.
Real good makeup sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could think of.
If that works for somebody, I'd love to hear. Like, yeah, hey, this is us. This works for us. Because I can't fully comprehend that because we don't get to that point where we're so fighting mad. I mean, we get passionate about things.
If I'm mad, there's zero sexes on my mind.
No.
I need to punch a wall.
Yes. Hopefully not.
Throw something.
That's why I just back away. Hey, baby, I'm
or you just know my temper, so you don't. I
just step off. I back away. You know, I'm here for you. When you
and
you
it's
need
not
me,
that we're fighting. It's just no one likes to be wrong.
No.
Nobody. By any means. But if I'm fighting about something, if I am hardcore angry and if I raise my voice about it, it's because I know I'm right and no one's listening to me.
And I know in those moments, I want to back away. I'm going to keep my distance from you for a little bit. And I know when to kind of sneak back in and be like, hey, baby, I'm here for you. I know you're pissed about this, and then it's all good.
You do a lot of things.
Because typically those times they're not directed at each other.
No.
It's a situation, something.
It's a situation.
And
you
can be mad about something or somebody and unfortunately we can take that out on those around us and it's never intentional. And I think we've done a pretty good job of knowing that's not intentional. It's not directed at you, it's not directed at the kids. Right now for me it's directed at the dog. I'm pissed at everybody, but it's that dog's fault.
You blame the dog for everything.
He's a terror right now. He is an absolute velociraptor that is wreaking havoc on everything.
But he got so good, and he was so good for weeks.
Yeah, and he's been the worst thing
and
in
this
the world
week,
for this week.
I don't know what happened.
I don't either, but we got to fix it.
The snow or the ice, whatever that was supposed to come through, didn't happen. Maybe he just got really pissed about it, and he's trying to show his tail.
Well, he's done a great job of it. If he doesn't get it together, we're going to have big problems.
But there's no reason for you to be all mad about that and take it out on everybody, and I get all mad about you doing that, and then we have hot sex. No, that doesn't work for us.
Don't work. So if it works for you, we'd love to hear it. Last one, which I think that people don't fully understand. Culture will not understand this at all, because people think Christians are boring and they don't have good, passionate sex, but it calls it holy sex, but it's basically putting God at the center of everything that you do, center of your relationship. He created sex.
Yes.
He fully created it. And it's not, not like don't want to go down that path, but making sure that he is at the center of it, and you realize that he created it and he created it for good, and you're expressing that enjoyment with each other.
That was number 8.
That was number 8.
Holy sex.
It's called holy sex.
I don't understand. All I'm hearing right now is forgetting Sarah Marshall. If God were a city planner, why would he put the playground next to sewage?
Next to the sewage water treatment plant or whatever like that. Now, basically what it's saying is that when a husband and wife live biblically, the way God created it, the sex is going to be far superior to those who are not.
Well, I don't know about anybody else's sex life, but very, very beyond extraordinarily happy with ours. And maybe it is, maybe it's not, that we have a holy sex. I don't even know how to say that, but because we have our priorities the right way, everything else just falls in line, which makes sex part of that. And it's even more incredible than it was when we didn't have God. And
that's the gist of this, is putting God at the center of your relationship. Everything flows from our spiritual side. Mm-hmm. And you're right. For us, because God is at the center of our relationship and everything that we do, and we look to him first above everything, everything else flows and falls into place. And yes, sex is a reward of that. It has only gotten better as we've gotten closer to God and our faith has grown.
I swear we always say, I don't understand. How does it get better?
Yeah. Which reverts back to the original first article. How can people only do this 12 times a year? I don't understand. I don't get it.
I would be miserable.
And I think that's part of it, is those people probably don't necessarily have God at the center of their relationship, because he created sex and it's good. He talks about how good it is. I mean, you got all Song of Solomon is nothing but about sex. The whole dadgum thing.
It's pretty vivid.
It is very, very vivid, and it is very, very descriptive if you read through it. I mean, he created it, and it is good, and it's to be pleasing, and we're to enjoy it. And when you do it the way he created it, man, oh man.
It just gets better and better.
It gets better and better and better. So the 8 types of sex people need to have, married people need to put into their relationship. I agree with some. I don't fully agree with others.
I think we're about a 6 out of 8.
I think so too. There's no reconciliation sex for us.
We don't have makeups. We don't need to make up anything.
You know, I'm not putting you in my 2:30 on a Tuesday afternoon. Just it don't quite work.
Just come home for a nooner.
Just come home for a nooner. that can always work as well. That goes. I can knock out 2 with 1. I can be the quickie as well. So it works. You
come
got
home on your lunch break, baby.
You got anything you want to add?
I like that. It was fun.
That was fun. People, listen, we haven't had the sex conversation in a while, but it's something that people need to be reminded of. It is an important part of a marriage and a relationship, something that should be taken seriously. You start your day off with that, you're going to have some good days.
You're not wrong.
Let's get out of here. God, we love you. God, we're thankful for what you do. We're thankful for this platform. We're thankful for the relationship that you have given us. God, we just pray that, as always, this will reach the people that need to hear it in the moments that they need to hear it. You will find a way and a path to be able to get it to the ears that need to hear it. And that's all our prayer is, that people can become closer, their relationships can become better, and they become closer to you throughout it all. And we trust you that you're going to do that. God, we love you and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Play ball.